Hey guys! So today we are working in the new entryway garden. So I call this space the new entryway garden because I created this garden space late last year in the fall, and I wanted to create this space as a new entry point into the garden because when I have visitors, they typically take this pathway to the main garden space. So there was a pathway that was naturally worn down the center of this yard space. And I typically just stored a bunch of plants over in this area. So I went ahead and I made this the pathway. I did install some fencing panels to block it off from the rest of the area over here, and eventually I'm going to be adding a large arbor to welcome you even further into this space. The inspiration for this garden was some butterfly bushes that I was able to get on clearance. I was able to get 6 butterfly bushes, all for $3 a piece, and I planted them in a hedge along the pathway, so they just swoop around the side of this pathway. They are doing pretty good. They are loaded with buds. I can't wait for them to bloom. I don't remember the name right now, but they do get 2 to 3 feet tall and wide. I'm going to keep them on the smaller side. So they were the original inspiration for this garden space, but I've been filling it with quite a bit of clearance plants as well. All of the shrubs here I got on clearance. These are magical fantasy weigelias. They bloom in the springtime. They have this gorgeous variegated leaf on it. Love this plant. I also added some pinky winky hydrangeas to this space as well. And we have some, I think, double play doozy spireas as well. I got on clearance. I got 2 on clearance. Each pot had 2 spireas in it, so I went ahead and I split them. So we have a small hedge. The 2 on this side, honestly, they are pretty small. They're not doing the best. Hopefully they catch up to these guys over here. And we also have this Gatsby Moon hydrangea. I did do quite a bit of weeding in this space, but I haven't been able to get over in this garden space like I wanted to because there was a yellow jacket nest in the ground, which we have handled. So today we are going to be adding quite a bit more plants over in this area. So originally this arbor right here was setting in this space right here. I kind of wanted to create a small patio area for the arbor to sit on, but the ground really isn't that even, and I didn't want to risk the arbor falling back and hitting the window and having to replace a window. So I moved it to the back of this garden space. Honestly, I like where it's sitting at. I think it's going to draw you further into the garden space and offer you a nice little seating area. So I think I'm going to keep that arbor there. I am going to be planting a small tree in this space right here. I have got my hands on a Ruby Falls redbud. That's been on my wish list for quite some time. I was able to pick one up at Lowe's. Typically it gets 8 feet tall and I think 6 feet wide. We are going to be planting it in this space right here. I'm going to make sure I plant it a little far away from the house so I don't have to deal with any root damage or anything like that. I think there will be plenty of space here for that. And I also wanted to add a bit of height to this garden space with some perennials. My original thought was to plant quite a bit of irises in this space. I did plant this large clump right here, but now I'm thinking I want to add some obedient plant to the space for some height as well. Obedient plant is not really that obedient. It does spread all over the place. I do have some pink obedient plant that I got from my mom and dad's garden. So I think I might dig up a bit of that to plant over here. And I went to Lowe's yesterday as well, and I was able to get some white obedient plant. So I think we're going to plant that over here as well. I guess this garden space typically is going to be white and pink. We got the pinky winky hydrangeas, the pink butterfly bushes, spireas pink as well. I think these Weigela also bloom pink and white. So I'm excited to get these plants in the ground today. And also, my arbor used to set right in this space right here. So I had this bit of mondo grass at the foot of the arbor. I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and dig this up and maybe plant them along where these bricks are. I placed the bricks here last night because we were going to get a severe thunderstorm and I wanted to avoid washing out some of this mulch. I think I'm going to dig up this mondo grass, plant it where the bricks are. This is easy to step over, and I think it's going to be enough to stop all of the mulch from rushing down the hill when we have some severe storms. So I think we're going to do that today as well. Let's go ahead and get started. This is the gorgeous Weeping Ruby Falls redbud tree. I picked her up in springtime at Lowe's for 114 bucks. When I originally picked her up, her leaves were much more burgundy than they are now. Not exactly sure why they are this color. Maybe she's a bit stressed. So I do want to go ahead and get her in the ground. She will get about 8 feet tall, 6 feet wide. I made sure I placed her quite a bit of ways away from the house's foundation, so I think she'll be just fine here. If I need to, I will keep her trimmed up a bit. In the springtime, it will be lavender red flowers on her. They kind of look like sweet pea blooms, and in the fall, her leaves will be a bright yellow. So excited to go ahead and get her in the garden today. Let's go ahead and get her in the ground. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a bucket so I don't make a mess over here to put the extra dirt in. And I did sheet mulch this earlier on, and the cardboard, there is still cardboard here, but it is easy to cut through with the shovel. I'm gonna see if the hole is big enough. I'm gonna check out how these roots look. Gotta go a bit deeper and wider. Probably should have grabbed a much larger bucket. I think that's going to be fine. I'm going to loosen up this root ball a bit. So she is a bit root bound, just a bit. Want to break up the root memory. Alright, I think that's good. I'm going to have to stand back and make sure she is positioned how I originally had her. I think that's how I originally had her, but I'm going to stand back, take a look. Yep, I think she looks perfect right there. So I'm going to go ahead and get her tucked to the ground. I'm just going to top it off with a bit of compost that I have. The Ruby Falls redbud tree is in. She is absolutely gorgeous. I hope she does darken up a bit, but she is in. That's all that matters. I will keep her trimmed up away from the AC unit, but that is probably about 4 feet away from there, so I think she'll be fine, honestly. But now that she is in, let's go ahead and get in our obedient plants. I went ahead and I placed the obedient plants where I want them. I originally was going to relocate some pink obedient plant to this garden space. I don't think I'm going to do that today because I wanted to work in this garden space while it was still shaded. The sun is coming around pretty quickly, so we are going to be in full sun shortly. So I want to go ahead and get all of these in the ground before that happens. I also placed 2 peonies. This one is a Shirley Temple peony we're going to get in the ground. And we have also a bowl of beauty that I want to get planted today as well. So let's go ahead and get these perennials in the ground. This pot is really root bound, look at that. So make sure I break these up. I'm going to try to keep these in check. I know this is a difficult perennial to do that with because they self-seed very aggressively. But I don't mind that. Just going, whatever I don't want, I'm just going to dig up. So I think that will be fine. And I do love the look that my mom and dad have with all of their obedient plant all over the garden. So I'm fine with that, honestly. So one's in, we got 2 more to go. Once again, this one is really root bound as well, so I'm going to make sure I disrupt that root memory. Really root bound. seems like there's a bit of concrete right here. I don't know, I might have to move the peony, but then again, this is a smaller peony, so the roots might not be that big. I might be able to stick it in here, but let me see if I can get this concrete out. Yep, I was able to grab that out, so I'm going to go ahead and get the peony planted right in this spot. And this one is Shirley Temple. And I broke a leaf branch. Shirley Temple is in. Now we are going to get our second peony in. I'm going to try to plant it right here. See if I can cut through some of this cardboard. Yep. It's already started to degrade, so it's not that hard to cut through the cardboard right here. I think that should be fine, and this one, once again, is Bowl of Beauty. Just break up the roots a bit. Alright, Bowl of Beauty is in. My plan was to dig up this dwarf mondo grass and relocate it towards the end of this pathway to help with the mulch rushing down the hill when we have a heavy rain. Right now I do have some bricks outlining this area, so I didn't have to deal with that last night when we had a heavy storm. But now I am rethinking what I want to do. I might get some flagstone or some kind of paver to make a small paving area right here and at the beginning of this pathway. I'm not exactly sure yet, so I'm gonna leave this dwarf mondo grass where it's at. I also kind of have the idea to outline the flower beds with this dwarf mondo grass. But as of right now, because I have not fully decided yet what I want to do, I'm going to leave this dwarf mondo grass right here. But we did manage today to plant our weeping Ruby Falls redbud tree. She looks great. She's going to fill in this area quite nicely. I'm excited for that. Can't wait to see her bloom next spring. We also planted 2 peonies. We have our bowl of beauty peony right here, and I also added a Shirley Temple peony as well. We also added Crystal Peak obedient plant. I planted 3. Also, I was going to relocate some to this garden space from the main garden, but I'm not going to do that today either. Still going to think on that, but honestly, I think I do want to still do that, and I think I'm going to be adding more irises to this space as well, but I'm going to leave this project where it's at. I think I'm going to be done for today. I like how everything turned out, and I can't wait to see how this garden space matures and to get an arbor in eventually, but that will be it for today, guys. I thank you for joining me on this project, and I hope again to see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.